Banshu, Tatsuno, the southwest Hyogo Prefecture. This region, which is blessed by the pure waters of the weaving, winding Ibo River, is the home of IBONOITO, hand-stretched somen. The winter sun is yet to show its face as somen production begins in the early hours of the morning. The pre-kneading process. First, wheat, flour, salt, and water are kneaded together to make the somen dough. A seasoned worker determines the right amount of salt and water depending on the weather that day. The well-kneaded dough is shaped into a mentai noodle strip, approximately 10 centimeters wide and 5 centimeters thick, and then coiled into a container called a saito. Several strips are fed into the roller to make them into one. Several of these larger strips are combined into one piece, and this process is repeated. Combining the strips in this way creates noodles of even strength that are less likely to snap when stretched. The strips are twisted, then coiled into the saito container. This is referred to as yori o kakeru, an independent method that gives the noodles the appropriate strength and is repeated several times during the coming processes. The noodle belt is fed into the roller to make it into a thinner noodle. Cottonseed oil is applied to the coiled noodle in a process called aburagaishi, in order to prevent the noodles from drying out and sticking to one another during the long production process. The noodles increase in firmness as they are twisted, combined, and stretched. This firmness is due to a protein in wheat flour called gluten, which takes a fibrous form, arranging itself intricately around starch molecules to give hand-stretched somen its characteristic firmness and smooth texture. The noodle is then left to ripen after the oil applying process. After around 3 hours of ripening, the noodle is fed into the roller while being twisted, thinning it down to 12 millimeters in diameter. The noodle is then ripened for about 1 hour before being thinned down to about 6 millimeters in diameter. After another 4 hours of ripening, the hanging process begins. Using a machine called a kakebaki, the noodles are hung from 2 bars, forming a figure 8 while being twisted. This is just one of the many tools of the somen production. While new technology has brought convenience, the role of the tools in the somen production process itself has remained unchanged. The hanging noodles are taken down from the bars and carefully placed into a ripening box called an omo. The fourth ripening then begins. After around an hour, the noodles are taken out of the omo and stretched out to about 50 centimeters, taking into consideration factors such as the next day's weather. After the trial stretching, the tools are adjusted based on many years of experience in order to stretch the noodles efficiently. This process is called kobiki, or gentle stretching. After the kobiki, the noodles are placed into the omo once more for another 12 hours of thorough ripening. The noodles are taken out of the omo and stretched to about 1.4 meters long. The noodles are then stretched little by little to 1.6 meters and 2 meters long, finally taking on a thin, somen-like appearance. The Banshu region experiences little rain during winter. This dry air is fully utilized to dry the somen out. This drying process is called kadoboshi. Experience is required to properly change the direction of the somen according to wind direction and cloud movement to ensure that they are dried evenly. The workers during this stage look as though they are protecting the somen, giving it its name of hatamori. The noodles are dried until the water content is reduced to roughly 13%, placed on the workbench and then cut into 19-centimeter lengths. Cut somen is bound into 50-gram bundles and fed through a metal detector before being packed. The producer's number is printed on the back of the obi band, binding the somen. It has been 2 days now since hand-stretched somen production began. It is now time for product inspection. The somen is graded box by box by qualified inspectors. Thorough quality management is also practiced, including the analyzing of finished products at the Production Research Laboratory. Lots that pass inspection are marked with an inspection seal to officially become IBONOITO hand-stretched somen. IBONOITO somen is classified into several grades according to factors, such as the quality of the flour and materials used, which are indicated by the obi band.